Yes, my interest for photography stems from pictures or scenes that I have seen in the Queen's Jubilee year, 1977. As a matter of fact, when I saw some of the scenes in London, I was captivated by the scenes. And from then on, I developed an interest to take photographs or take up amateur photography as my hobby. It drove me to attend the Gloucester Technical College, where I used to attend, say, one evening a week, that is in Brunswick Road, after work. And from then on, it's history for me where photography is concerned. Now, wherever I've gone since then, I always have a camera with me, and I used to take everything and anything. Recently, I went to America on a visit, and one of my heroes was Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, the evangelist. And of course, I was privileged to go to his birthplace. There is a historical monument and things like that set up for him. And I visited the historical center. Well, when I got there, I saw this monument that says the King's Center. Moving from the King's Center, I was interested to see the Baptist church that he used to preach in, and which is called the Benissa Baptist Church. Now, if you look at this picture, you will notice that it's empty, although it's still preserved to its former glory. They use it at the moment as a tourist attraction. And you go in there, and there's a tape recording of Dr. Martin Luther King's sermon being preached in there, and it's just as if you're in a service. We left from there, and then we went outside, and they got this place called the Walk of Fame. Now, in this Walk of Fame section, you will come to a place where you find some footprints on the plaques, and there are hundreds and hundreds of them there. Some of the names that I've noticed in these footprints, or in the Walk of Fame, was somebody like our ex-Prime Minister of Jamaica, Michael Manley. Yeah? And then you walk a little bit further, and you find somebody like LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Jimmy Carter, and Jesse Jackson, and many more. Now, yeah, and then you leave from there again, and I was intrigued to find somebody like Mahatma Gandhi's statue there. What I learned of that is that Dr. Martin Luther King was very interested in Mahatma Gandhi's work, and for some reason they put his statue there as well. And then there is this fountain. Now, I always remember there was a song that we used to have back in the West Indies. I think it was a Baptist hymnal that says, "When peace like a river attendeth my ways, when sorrows like a stream billows flow, whatever you do, thou hast taught me to know, it is well with my soul." And when I saw that, I remember what Martin Luther King said some years ago about free at last. Now, I had to think then that, where they put his tomb in that fountain, it reminds me of this, when peace like a river, he is free at last, and there his tomb is in with the water flowing around, which must be a good sign of peace. Now, you will notice here, this is a close-up of the picture of that tomb, and it is the tomb of Martin Luther King and his wife, Coretta Scott King, and on it says, Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr., born 1929 and died 1968. And here is his little speech that said, free at last, thank God I am free at last. Coretta Scott King, 1927 to 2006, and now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but to the greatest of these is love. And I think it was quoted from 1 Corinthians 11. And there is a garden in the compound or the complex, and you will find a number of these plaques on there. Some of them were written by students from different schools. This one says, Coretta Scott King, peace flowed like a river from her heart on the greatest of days to the roughest of days. Nothing ever stopped here. So humble and so gentle peace flowed. And the person who wrote this one is called Christelle Ingram, a grade 7 student. Coretta Scott King, Young Women's Leadership Academy, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Then I came to this one, which I remember seeing in the film Roots. And I remember when they showed this sort of picture, it depicts a newborn, and there is an adage to it. Now, what that adage is, it says, behold. The beholder sculpture commemorates the heroic principles that guided the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on January 11th to 1990. Mistress Coretta Scott King unveiled this monument as a tribute to her late husband and as an inspiration to others to fight for dignity, social justice, and human rights. Patrick Morales' sculpture reflects the ancient African ritual of lifting a newborn child to the heavens and reciting these words, behold, the only thing greater than yourself. Now you come to this, you can see there's a stove there with flames burning, and it is called the Eternal Flame. Now it was donated to some gas company in America, and that burns throughout the time, night and day, for as long as whatever time it may be. So that was my bit of interest visiting the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.